Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk about open source alternatives to Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, and Microsoft PowerPoint. I'll start out with LibreOffice, which has all three of those, and also Calligra. And then I'll discuss some softwares that are just alternatives to basically single Microsoft softwares like this one and these. And I think the softwares I discuss are great alternatives to Microsoft softwares, and let's get started. So first of LibreOffice, you can go to LibreOffice.org, and they also have a GitHub page. If you're interested to see the source code, you can go there. But generally, I think most people will just go to the website and download from here. And I think LibreOffice honestly is an excellent software. And let's get started. So I have a list of files, and I have some documents and some CSV files and presentations, and I'm going to show you all of these in LibreOffice. So the first one, this is an example Word document. I didn't make this, I just downloaded it from this URL. And this is actually a Microsoft Word document, but you can read it in LibreOffice Writer, which is kind of the open source alternative to Microsoft Word. It's quite good, and I think it's one of my favorites. And this is an example one that I saved it in the .odt. That's the default in Writer, but you can also save it as a Word document if you prefer .doc or docx. And the Microsoft Word alternative is quite fantastic. You can see here it's got text, and you can increase the font, for example. You can do pretty much anything you can do in Microsoft Word in here, but I think the design is much better here, and I actually far prefer this. Even if Microsoft Word wasn't proprietary, I still prefer LibreOffice Writer. I've used it for a long time. Now this is an alternative to Excel. This is LibreOffice Calc, and this is a CSV file. And note that I've got these different columns. This is for salary data, and we can, for example, bold the header row. We can align the columns. We can sort. For example, let's say I want to sort by a custom sort. Let's say it contains column value. This says range contains column labels, and I would do that. And for example, let's say I wanted to sort the people by their yearly salary from highest to lowest. Could do it like this. So just like in Excel. And these two softwares are the ones I use the most. I use Writer and Calc. I probably use Calc a little bit more, but I still like Writer. Both of them are softwares I use all the time. And this one here, the LibreOffice Impress, is kind of the open source alternative to PowerPoint. I think it's quite excellent. You can see here I have the first slide and then the next one. This is just lorem ipsum Latin text. And this one has an image. This is of the Alps. And here's an image of a cat. So LibreOffice, I highly recommend it. And again, you can go to LibreOffice.org. And if you want a full alternative to Microsoft Office, this is the one I would recommend the most, at least the one that you can use just on your own computer. Okay, now for ONLYOFFICE. I accidentally had left this out. I'm actually using ONLYOFFICE right now in this document. This is actually an ONLYOFFICE document. And you can go to onlyoffice.com. And if you want, you can actually make an account with them and run the code on their servers, or you can access and run the servers, make your own server. I'm not going to show you how to make your own server, but the GitHub repository has all the code you would need, and you can actually run this on your own server. And ONLYOFFICE is, it has documents, spreadsheets, like a PowerPoint alternative and more. And I'm going to show you some files here now. Okay, and as a reminder, this is actually OnlyOffice. This is kind of like Google Drive. There's a bunch of files here. And the presentation I was showing you, this is actually in OnlyOffice. Now I want to show you here again. It actually that you can make documents and they default to .docx files, but you can also import files, for example, from LibreOffice. And here's an example. Again, I downloaded this from some website, and it's able to read it. And this is a file I made, and I intentionally left a misspelling here just to show you that it has spell check. For example, here I just changed that to chapter. This has an image, and it has pretty much anything. Okay, later I'm gonna show you AbiWord. This is an AbiWord, but let's say OnlyOffice, and I can increase the font size. Let's say I want it to be that, and I make it bold. And I definitely like OnlyOffice. It's also a great alternative to Google Docs. And then this is what a blank document might look like when you first make one. Okay, now let's go over the spreadsheets. So this is a document. I just importing the same document I was working on before. This is salary data, and you can do similar things like in LibreOffice. I don't know why it just added this. It seems to have, I don't know what it did to this data. I'll need to figure that out. But mostly the data, sometimes you might have issues like this, but they're pretty rare. And let's say I want to sort the data, for example, sort, custom sort. You can do that. You can sort by, for example, yearly salary, sort by the values and descending. Okay, so that goes from highest to lowest. So, and this is what a blank spreadsheet might look like. And then here is what a presentation, the same presentation I had before, but this is in OnlyOffice. So I think, again, OnlyOffice is a fantastic software. It's open source, but if you don't want to set up your own server, you can just use the website onlyoffice.com. I think it's quite fantastic. Okay, now I'm going to move on to Calligra. Okay, now about Calligra. If you go to calligra.org, you can find out about this. It's made by KDE, and they have a GitHub page, but I think their most up-to-date software is on their website at this link. And now I'm going to show you the same files that I showed you in LibreOffice, but now with Calligra. Okay, and Calligra, the Word, Microsoft Word alternative is called Words, so they just added an S to it, I guess. Now, the initial design is kind of annoying to me. I don't like this, whatever this is, but you can move it. I just moved it away, and I think it's pretty good, I think. I do think that this is not bad, and you can also, and I'm showing you opening it with Words, and this is the same file I was working on with the other documents. And we're not in AbiWord, we're in Calligra Words. I think that this is, something to check out, Calligra Words. I still prefer LibreOffice over this, but if you have no other options, I think Calligra Words is pretty good. Now let's go over their version of a spreadsheet. It's just called Sheets. Here's the same data as before. See here, this is salary data, and okay, this briefly crashed for a moment. I don't know why it did, but Calligra Sheets seems interesting, although I haven't used it that much. And then let's go over their sort of PowerPoint alternative. So I have the same presentation, and again, I'm going to move this. I find these menus kind of annoying, so I'll move them away. You can see the same slides as before. This was of the Alps. This is a cat. And here's some lorem ipsum. So I think Calligra is something worth checking out. It's not my favorite, but it is an open source alternative to Microsoft Office. Okay, now I'm going to talk about something that's Microsoft Word only, so it doesn't have all three of those. And I'm going to show you AbiWord. Okay, so AbiWord doesn't seem to be as actively developed as other ones, but you can go here to check out the code if you're interested. But you can easily install it if you're using Ubuntu, for example. And I want to show you a file. This is in AbiWord, and it's a similar file as before. And I just noticed this. I didn't notice it before, but I wasn't able to open a .docx file. I was only able to open a .doc file. So maybe it has some more limitations than the other ones. But this is an alternative to Microsoft Word, and they have their default as it saves it as AbiWord, so ABW files. Okay, and now I'm going to talk about some alternatives to Microsoft Excel. Okay, first I'm going to talk about IronCalc, and you can go to ironcalc.com. It looks like this, and you can actually try out IronCalc at app.ironcalc.com, and I just put the same data in as before. So you can actually run this without an account, and I think it's worth trying out. I've made a previous video about IronCalc. I think IronCalc is quite good. But if you prefer to run IronCalc on your own server, you can do that, and they have a GitHub repository, and you can use the code to run your own server. Okay, next I'm going to show you Gnumeric, and this is another alternative to Excel. And you can go to this website to check it out if you're interested, or they have their own repository. And now this is what the same data looks like in Gnumeric. And you can, for example, auto-align the columns. You can sort with data sort. It took me actually a little bit to figure this out. But for example, if I wanted to sort by the yearly salary, remove all these, and this gives you the option to sort, for example, descending, or actually, I guess that's sorting ascending. I would have need to have changed the arrow direction. So that's Gnumeric. And now I'm going to discuss some PowerPoint only alternatives. Okay, and some PowerPoint only alternatives. If you go to, we'll first talk about reveal.js. So reveal.js has a GitHub page, and you can run it on your own server if you're interested. And unfortunately, they don't really have a demo page so much that you can actually edit, but you can watch a slide, you can watch a demo, and this is I'm about to show you here. So their demo page, you can scroll with the, I'm using an arrow key, and this is, I think it's an interesting presentation. Again, I'm using an arrow key to go through this. So this is a reveal.js, their sort of demo, but unfortunately you can't actually edit it without, you're going to have to run your own server. And then now I'm going to show you impress.js. So impress.js also has a GitHub page, and it might be less active than reveal.js because there's a lot newer things here. But anyway, impress.js has a GitHub page, and if you go to their website, impress.js.org, there's also sort of a demo. It says use a spacebar or arrow keys to navigate. So I think this is kind of cool. Okay, so these were open source alternatives to Microsoft Office. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked, please subscribe to or follow this channel, and see you in the next one. Thank you.